Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for a South Island derby of Super Rugby Pacific. The Crusaders away from home, taking on the Highlanders, and what will be once again a very important game for the underdogs. And at this contest, if the Highlanders get themselves the win, they work towards that top six. We just saw Moana Pacifica get the victory, which does mean that the pressure is now on even more as there's another team right in the running. Looking through at the starting lineup for the Highlanders, they've got Ethan de Groot, Sawane Vakena and Saula Ma'u as the front row. Fabian Holland and Dunshay in the locking duo with TK Howden, Sean Withy and Will Stoddard as the starting number 8. Bilal Fakatava and Cam Miller in the 9-10 channel with Tahiwi in the midfield alongside Umanga Jensen. Jonah Lowe out on one wing, Timothy Tavanawai out on the other, and Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins as the number 15. That's quite the mouthful, the backline that they've put together for this match. Looking through at the Crusaders side, it is George Bauer, Cody Taylor and Fletcher Null as the front row. Scott Barrett and Jamie Hanna in the locks. And then Saifaloy at number 6. Tom Christie, number 7. Christian Leo Willie slotting in as the number 8. Noah Hotham and Taha Kamara as the 19 combo. David Arvelli and Dallas McLeod in the middle. Macca Springer, Sever Reese and Will Jordan as the back 3 as well. Looking through at the jet, we have got there and Rabic is AWOL, AWOL, I should say. I wasn't sure what AWOL was. NZ Riot, nowhere near. Says Mr. All In, and the Crusaders are looking almost back to their best now. I think they've even become, or they'll be even better come finals. It's amazing how, despite keeping the same coach as last year's horror season, the Crusaders have now massively improved. It was always going to be an adjustment period for that Crusaders side. Like, I know that a lot of people expected to see the domination continue straight after Robinson left, but just wasn't going to be realistic. They had to use a little bit more time and have a season to find their feet. And, you know, now that they have, it's working pretty nicely for them at the moment. But they are just about to have the New Zealand national anthem, and then we will be underway for this contest. But anyone who is new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and also do let me know who you think will win this match. I got a question. I feel only you can answer it, I believe. Let me know when I can ask. I guess you can ask. Was that the question? Maybe. Let me know when I can ask. Oh, no, it wasn't quite a question, was it? It didn't have a question mark. It's amazing how, despite keeping the same... Oh, no, I read that one. And bring the pain landers. Says Big 8 and Tight Lions, and respect Anzac soldiers, men and women's. Says Blues Nate. And there as well. But looking at what has happened in the most recent games for the Crusaders, they have been on a bit of a winning tear in some close matches up against New Zealand sides, but getting the victories throughout those matches. 25 points to 22 win over the Blues, and then 31 points to 24 victory over the Hurricanes as well for the Highlanders. They had a bit of a tough run, although they have got themselves that win over the Fijian draw in the middle, but they lost a few of their games in Australia, which now puts them around that 9 mark in the overall standings. They need a big win here, and it would be an upset if they were able to do so, I should say. 46 points to 10, definitely not the result that they wanted last week in another New Zealand derby. But in the comments we have got there, Hamish looking absolutely fantastic again. Who's going to win, says Roof? Well, I do think that the Crusaders come in as favourites. Down in Dunners can always have a bit of an impact. The Zoo love to be loud and proud of their Landers team. They've got about 15,000 in attendance for this contest. It's going to be a good game, says Anthony. I hope so. It's always nice seeing the South Island derby, and then in a few more weeks we get to see it again. So hopefully it does at least build some hype towards the second match. Hopefully it's not one-sided, and we get to see a really awesome matchup. This is the second of the day. I wanted the Landers to win. So now you don't want the Landers to win? Oh no, they've got the Australian national anthem as well for this matchup. Who are the Kiwis who are singing it? We'll look along who's the ones who are getting selected for the Wallabies soon. Okay, I see one mouth moving, and I think, if I'm not wrong, that was the Highlanders loose forward, and this one, Lasunga, of all people, having to sing along to the Australian national anthem. And Mum reckons Saders are winning. Or Novma, I want. So, of course, that is so that your Chiefs can have a bit more of a gap up the Blues' best New Zealand team, says Rugby Itch. Hey, Tim. Hope you're doing all right. yeah, they're struggling at the moment, but that doesn't mean that they won't come back. I just saw someone with a Kaylee Bell shirt. Some people won't even, well, a lot of people won't even know who that is, but good to see the Wymos representing. New Zealand are singing Aussie anthem nice. Says Blues, Nate. Now we are going to have the last post played as well, and then we will be underway for this matchup. You didn't actually ask the question in the end, Mr. Hall, I don't believe, so be sure to fire it. Rugby Itch, absolutely. Says Mr. Hall in there. The two New Zealand sides going head to head. We love a good New Zealand derby, and we get plenty of them throughout the closing rounds of Super Rugby Pacific. A few changes in the starting lineups for both of these sides. Macca Springer, he's been on an absolute try-scoring tear as of late. And he would definitely not mind getting one more try added to that tally. Now, alongside him, I mean, we've seen someone like Timothy Tavatava-Nawai. He's gone 4 matches without scoring, but he's out on the wing for this matchup and is an absolutely phenomenal player. So I definitely wouldn't put it past him to be able to get a try in this contest as well. We have got there, who do you reckon will win the URC? URC is a tricky one because, of course, the Stormers, once again, it seems like it's their competition to lose. You know, so they should win it, but honestly, I think a South African side at the moment, maybe the Bulls, with the way that they played last night up against Glasgow, they did dominate. So I wouldn't be surprised if they can get something going. Look, Hamish, it's Tim. Hi, Rugby Itch. Says Blues, Nate. Yeah, we've had a few people concerned, Tim. They said that you have disappeared, so hopefully you have been keeping well. And another visit, my man, God bless the cause, says Drape. What's your prediction for the game and your top 6? Safe bets, Crusaders to win. Sake of the competition, Highlanders winning would make things very interesting. Top 6, honestly, is really, really hard. I think that Crusaders, Chiefs, Brumbies, and Reds are my 4 absolutely confirmed top 6 teams. Which I think I've just read off the top 4. That's a bit easy, isn't it? But I have no idea what's going to happen. The Hurricanes are still yet to find their stride. I'm waiting for them to find a big performance that then puts them in a position where they actually go on to maybe make it into the top 8. Where does Stormers sit on the table? They are currently sitting in 8th. They have got a game happening later on up against Connacht. We are going to be covering that one. Well, sorry, up against Benetton, in fact. Going to be covering that one on the channel as well. But the national anthems and the last post has been sung and done. And we're now going to be ready for this big matchup. Officially back in Manchester. Says Rugby Itch. Should be a humdinger of a game. Jordan O'Connor. Says Reeve. Of course, many people will remember what O'Connor was able to do last week. But he is not here for this matchup. Instead, Reves Rehana will be the man off the bench. So it does seem like they are really trying to back the guys, I guess, who are a lot younger and a bit less experienced. Perhaps that is just in case O'Connor does go down with some sort of injury. You do still need that backup plan. There's the big man, Fabian Holland. He's made 152 tackles throughout the competition, 94% tackling completion, and he has won 30 lineouts as well. So who do you reckon can take out the UFC? Well, right now, Leinster look like the team to beat, and I feel like that's not really like a terrible statement. They're sitting number 1. They've only lost 1 game this season, and throughout their Champions Cup, they have looked dominant, as well as the URC. So, yeah, Leinster's comp to lose, but if anything to go off is the last 3 years, it means that it is far from one for this Leinster side. It's got a bit more work to do. And Cardiff winning against Munster was beautiful, says Nort. And then I did see that Edinburgh and Zebra actually had a draw, which does make it a bit more interesting as we head towards the end of the competition. Damon Murphy will be the referee in charge of this one. Brett Cronin on the TMO. This game just about to kick off. Kicking off maybe about 5 minutes later than some would have anticipated for this contest. Just in the last huddles back in time, says Spider Meek. And also we've got, I should have done the Aussie anthem first, but good show. Says Hanoi. Just showing the table the way that it sits. If the Crusaders get themselves a victory here, they would go into first place. I don't think that's correct, is it? I think that currently the Crusaders, they were on 32 points, weren't they? Yeah, Crusaders 32 points. They've got them live standings as 34 points though. So by their logic, it means that the Crusaders, if they win this game, would go into first no matter what. But I'm not necessarily sure that they are only on, or that they are on 34 rather than the 32. Did you know that no New Zealand team has won in Australia yet? Says Andy Wright. I did indeed. 5 wins for Aussie, or 4 wins for Aussie and 1 draw of the matches that have taken place. And now the Highlanders have managed to retain their own kickoff, so they will get a little bit of an early chance on attack. Whakatava looking to the short side, finds it off to Jacob Ratamatavuki Nepkins. And everyone says, Judah, welcome in. Doing extremely well up the draw. I was watching it on your channel. Says Chad, you certainly were. You were going for the draw big time, and they were at times very decent. It would be your loose forward trio for the Lions. See, it's a tricky one because I do think that they might... Oh, that was an ugly clean out from Holland in the breakdown on Tom Christie. But yeah, I think that with Farrell in charge, the chance of it being a couple Irish players, if not all 3, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. I do think that, in that 2 jersey, you'd probably go Sheehan at the moment. But, whether or not they look at another option, maybe. And I think that just for the sake of consistency and chemistry, they'd probably just go all 3. But I think that the Scottish props definitely need a bit of a mention there. Someone like a Pierre Schoolman could find himself on the Lions tour. 4 rounds to go. Blues still have, says Spider Mix. So yeah, they've got time to get back into it. Big long throw over the top to Jonah Lowe. Already 90 seconds in, and the Highlanders are pretty much yet to give away the ball. Little chip behind, attempted from Cam Miller, but it goes into the hands of Dallas McLeod. Wrestling for it with Sean Whiffy, and it's gone backwards. Says the referee. Henry Pollock call up. Maybe we could see him get in there. I know that he's one of those guys that has been talked a lot about in recent times. Some good, some bad. And Roger Rabic says Mr. Hall-in. Yeah, we'll have to eagerly await to see when the next Super Rugby one from Rugby is. Perhaps we get him on at half time, although he might be busy, possibly, but we'll see. It'll be interesting. Tim says Blues, Nate. But now currently sitting 2 minutes in, and the scrum will be the Highlanders, 22 metres out from the line in a very good position on the field. 928 kgs, the 4-pack of the Crusaders, compared to 903 of the Highlanders. Pollock, there's that force hooker. I like him, so I assume that is Nick Dolly that you are talking about, or at least he is in the starting side anyway. But now, gone down. The Highlanders have managed to retain this ball. Almost getting his jersey ripped over his head, Jake Tahiwi. And go the Crusaders, says Bodine. Scott Barrett getting into the breakdown, trying to get the turnover. Big attack and run from Zwane Vakena. Oh, and a knock on there from Palau Whakatava. I think it was maybe clipping a boot in the breakdown. Might have been his own teammates. He's not happy about it. And Mr. All-in Rabic is fun out of the Kiwi lads. And Highlanders upset, says Rugby Mad, is his prediction. Soifaloi makes the low tackle and then just can't quite roll away in time. But Palau Whakatava dropping that ball. Which Super Rugby players have impressed you most this year? Can Defo come on? I think that Moananu, honestly, has been outstanding for the Crusaders. Definitely when you compare the talks of, Taukiaho, or is it going to be a Safwa more and all that side. But I think that, Moananu certainly played himself into a bolter type of position. A little bit similar to what we saw for George Bell last year. In terms of, Leo Willie's been impressive for the Crusaders as well. I'm just thinking through the 2 teams here. Caleb Tangi Tau, if he's match fit, another penalty. This time it does go the way of the Crusaders at scrum time. And Saders feeling the heat, says Big 8s and tight lines. And do you think Chris and Leo Willie will be in the AB squad? It depends a little bit on what the plan is with Satiti and Savia, whether or not both of those guys are going to be playing 8, or whether, once again, we see Satiti at 6 or Savia perhaps at 7. But I think at the moment his plan will be number 8. So then, you're a little bit similar to the position that Satutu was in terms of the benefit that Leo Willie's got is he does play multiple positions. He can play that 6 role. He can also play 7. So that would almost, in my opinion, get him selected ahead of Satutu just for that versatility. And get it the Saders, says Bodine there. And Moananu, Whakatava, Ratama gelling now. Nicely passed across to Taha Kamara. I think the referee got knocked down there. And now Sever Reese, big attack and run. Crusaders only sitting about 7 metres out from the line. They're talking about Sevu Reese's drought since his hat-trick. Cody Taylor gets the ball on the outside from Jamie Hanna. 10 metres out from the Highlanders try line now. Bauer throws himself at the forwards. Now, if they can shift this one out wide, they'll be in a little bit of danger defensively here, the Highlanders. Someone has stayed down, though, in the middle of play. Noah Hotham getting tied up there by the Highlanders. Harry Potter uses his skills. Learned at Hogwarts well. Cross kick attempted now. Macca spring. No, that was a terrible kick. Really awful from whoever that was. Didn't even create the angle for Macca Springer. Oh, no, it's not Kamara because his knee looks absolutely destroyed here. That is a big concern. It was actually Will Jordan who went for the kick, but just got it a little bit too far off the side of the boot. Does roll dead. Just needed that width. And yeah, Taha Kamara. We're going to see the replay here. I think it was the referee, wasn't it? No, he ran through. Got tackled, and that looked like a knee just tweaking the complete wrong way. And I think there's going to be a little bit of a stoppage here, ladies and gentlemen. Best wing in Super Rugby, says Den Fred. Depends on who you talk to. Because are you talking current form or are you talking in general? Because best wing in Super Rugby, it's hard to debate at the moment in terms of overall standings. You know, they're talking about Sevu Reece and his try scoring. The left knee did take a little bit of a shot, and Reece is right up there. Julian Savia, in terms of overall tries scored in Super Rugby, is right up there too. Mark Talia says Rugby Itch. Would you still say he's the best, Tim, after his last little game? I just think that the Blues aren't getting it out to those wingers enough. Like, they've got Caleb Clark out on the wing. We've seen him touch the ball like 5 times this year, which has been a bit of a shame. Looks like a massive shame, though, for Taha Kamara. He will make his way off. And we do now see Reves Reihana as the number 10 who has to play 75 minutes. No James O'Connor off the bench in this game either for the Crusaders, but it is drop goal, or 22 dropout, I should say, for the Highlanders. Hey, Rugby Itch says, was there from Robert. Current form, says Den Fred. I mean, there are a couple guys right up there. Someone like a Leroy Carter or a Moni Narua definitely need a bit of a mention. If you're talking about clinical try scoring, Macca Springer. I mean, he got 5 tries in mid-March, but a lot of those were just gifts, but you still got to score them. Hamish and Tim will put their AB's team, they reckon, a day before Razor's pick. And a morning/evening, everyone, says Flesh in there. Going to go high with it, Macca Springer. Trying to claim it under the high ball, and he has managed to pull away with the ball. Now kicked him behind. Dallas McLeod chasing after it, but the mark is called by Cam Miller, who gets back. Be able to claim it early. Morning/evening, everyone. Welcome in, Flesham. We are here on the second live stream of the day. We've still got 3 more to go. In fact, 4 more to go after this one. URC. Of course, there will be a match that I will try not to mention too much for you. Do you think the ABs need overseas players? I don't necessarily think that they need them. Like, without the overseas guys, we've seen some brilliant form from New Zealand, and I'm quite liking the sabbatical thing that they're doing at the moment, but we talked about it quite deeply on the last live stream in terms of if you end up opening up the door for overseas players to play, then Super Rugby is going to go downhill big time. Honestly, the Blues chemistry this year has been way off. Haven't taken chances, and injuries haven't helped. Just hoping Blues can somehow slide into the top 6 spot. And the thing is, if I was another team, right, I don't think I'd want to play the Blues in the playoff game, because that's a little bit similar to what we saw last year for the Crusaders in terms of if they had just snuck into the quarterfinals, one of the favourites would have had to play them. And yeah, I just don't know if, yes, the Blues form has been off, but I still wouldn't want to play them in that next matchup. I feel like they would still give a lot of sides a run for their money. Definitely if they peaked at the right time. They haven't peaked yet, but still got a few more games to go. We're going to see it there, Dunshay. Bit of friendly fire, actually, there. I think it was Sawani Vakina that he ended up sharing a headbutt with. And Kyle Preston versus Falau Fakatava, who will join Cortez Ratama and Cam Roigard as the All Blacks halfback for the year 2025. This will be an interesting game. Noah Hotham probably more likely than Kyle Preston at the moment. Like, yes, Preston came off the bench in that first game of the season and scored a hat-trick. But since then, I mean, Hotham played out of his skin last week. And that game up against the Blues, or at least in the first half, I believe, he was one of the outstanding players. Or it might even be the game before that up against the Hurricanes, in fact, now that I think about it. Now, Hamish Blues are done. They aren't, though. The thing is, with the way that the table is, and with the fact that more than 50% of the teams make it through to the playoffs, the Blues are only, I would say, 2, maybe 3 wins away from going through to the next stage of the comp. Like, all of the teams still have a chance, except for the Fiji and Roa. They're the only side that I think can't make it through now. Put 5Ks on the Crusaders' first try, says a Dutch, so you will certainly be hoping that they score relatively soon. The Highlanders were close to scoring before. Hotham going off to the right-hand side now. Dallas McLeod passing out wide. Jakarata Matavuki Nepkins tries to get it. Harvey shovels it on to Severis. He'll put the chip in behind. Fakatava running a little bit too casually after that one, but he does still manage to get it. Everything going wrong way, says Adash. I think they're going to check for it there, but I do think that it was grounded by the Highlanders first. Do you think the Aussie teams are better than the AB's teams? I think that at the moment a lot of people feel that they are, but there seems to be a bit of a mistake in terms of people are saying, look at the Aussie sides beating the New Zealand teams. Look, the Hurricanes, Highlanders and Blues are all out of the top 6, but no one mentions the top 2 teams at the moment on the table. There's a lot more mention about those New Zealand sides missing out, not the 2 New Zealand sides that will have more than likely a home final if they keep on going. If you lose 7 games, you don't deserve to make playoffs, too many losses, says Smashproof. But like I said, the benefit of, it's the same as last year. 66% of teams went through, and some teams got to go through with a less than 50% winning rate. And I need 13 plus of the Crusaders, says him. And Strong Chief here, that guy commenting on Super Rugby page about the Blues on Chiefs game couldn't help himself. Oh, what a run that is from Will Jordan. Just puts the foot down and scores the try for the Crusaders. Will be a good test season if the Wallabies are on form, says Big 8. Yeah, it's going to certainly add a lot more to the Bledisloe Cup. Do you have kids, says Ken Carson? I do not know. As in, I do not, no. Rather than I don't know if I have them. I got it, mate, says Adash. And also, Reese Pakatava, come on, boys, says Roof. But yeah, Will Jordan just gets the pop pass up from Falloy, and then just trying to ankle tap was Damothi Tava Nawai. Couldn't quite get there. Will Jordan with the ice emoji from Tim. Yeah, anytime he gets a little bit of space, he's definitely the front runner at the moment in that 15 jersey. Have to wait to see whether or not we see the Hurricanes go head-to-head with the Crusaders. Perhaps Ruben Love can try another cheap shot and take him out for the season. And then he would get a little bit closer to that 15 jersey. Now, chance here for Reves Rehana to line up this kick, predict the 10s for the ABs. Damien McKenzie, Bowden Barrett, easy. Maybe they'll go for a third choice, bit of a bolter, maybe, or they might just look at someone like a Ruben Love and say he can play 15 and 10. But yeah, I think that it's a 2-man race at the moment between McKenzie and Bowden. I still think Crusaders by 12, says Gerhard. And yeah, let's go, says Blues Nate there. But yeah, just too much space for Will Jordan. As soon as he gets any sort of space like that, it's going to be hard to catch him. And that has made the crowd a little bit more silent in the background. Down in Dunedin. Score sitting 7-0 now to the Crusaders. Now Cam Miller going to go for the high kick. Nicely taken by Will Jordan. And Holland and Haig. That is a change that they have just made there for the Highlanders. I'm not sure whether or not that's an HIA or that is just because of the switch that needed to be made. Maybe a bit of blood. There's already been about 3 players cut open in this game, and we're only 11 minutes in. So it's Taha Kamara gone for the game. He isn't probably gone for the season too, looking at the way that he was limping off. What games is playing today? This game is one of them. Hurricanes versus Brumbies is another. That's a nice steal there from Jamie Hanna. Like Scott Barrett was shaping for a kick for half a second there. I don't know how well that would have gone. Now off to the right-hand side. Dallas McLeod in the middle. Can't quite get it away on the outside. Withy does make the tackle. But all the games we are covering on the channel today are all scheduled already. And no space for Jordan. He's a rocket. He's gone. Sears Blues Nate now sitting about 40 metres out from the line. The Crusaders. I'm going to be rolling this one back for Noah Hotham. Who's the underdogs? I think it is the Crusaders. You would be wrong. It is the Highlanders in this contest. As they are sitting, knock on from Hotham. Yeah, Highlanders sitting in 9th at the moment on the overall table. Is Will Jordan playing? He certainly is, and he's already scored a try in this match. If New Zealand team plays New Zealand ref, so is Aussie. If New Zealand team play Aussie, should be overseas ref. Aussie ref not fair with our boys, says Spider Mick. I was thinking about, because I know that you and Kiwi Rob were non-stop complaining about it yesterday. And I was thinking about it, and why don't we start up some sort of refereeing school in Fiji, Samoa or Tonga? That way you've got a neutral referee in that regard. You know, it will cost a lot of extra money, but that doesn't seem to matter, so you might as well do it. And from there, you know, it's going to be neutral refs. Then people will have something else to complain about after that. Currently, in terms of the points per minute, or at least by quarter, the Highlanders, their second half, definitely the last 20 minutes, hasn't been the best. They've been the worst team for points being scored. Captain for the ABs this year, I would say Savia. Like, I would be surprised if they go Barrett, but at the same time, like, it would be the choice that I would expect to see just with Razor. Charge winners the Six Nations again next February, so you've got another 10 months to wait till that comp does come back. Lau Fakatava feeding that ball in now, going off to the right-hand side here for the Highlanders, who do sit about 45 metres out from their own line. Oh, Crusaders going to make sure that they stay onside. Add red jerseys. Yeah, well, Hoskins to make the All Blacks. I'm honestly not sure. He's locked in until 2027, I think it is, for the Blues, so that might help him out that little bit. I think that's comic relief, says Robert. Now sitting about 35 metres out, I'm on the field. Well, maybe don't go out there, Levi. You already said you punched a security guard down in Dunedin. I can't imagine that went well. Nice run from Macca. Springer has the pass on the inside. Will Jordan will get 2. And once again, they are cut open in defence, the Highlanders. And it's 2 quick tries in a row for Will Jordan. There's so many good players out there and teams, says Ruth. And Will Jordan is certainly right up there. Nice assist from Macca Springer. Some wingers would have decided they wanted to go themselves, but Tom Christie locked himself over the ball and got the initial turnover. It's better than the conspiracy. All the rest are against you, says Robert V. And it would also give a little bit more support to Fiji and Samoa, Tonga, etc. So, yeah, maybe it's the idea. However, they're good try, says Mr. All-In. Up to Saders, says Ange. Just a good run down the wing from Springer to set that one up, and Jordan bring it back, baby, says Ruth. And I mean, Will Jordan, even though I believe he was already making it into the squad anyway, he's picked the perfect round to play well as a number 15. We did see Zahn Sullivan in the game for the Blues really not look his best in that 15 jersey. Ruben Love, a little bit of pressure on him in the game up against the Brumbies. I got 13 plus for the Crusaders, says Gzare, and Satutu play for England if Razor doesn't pick him, says Spider Mick. I mean, he's got that option. But I also do still think that if he's playing for England, he's probably still off the bench at best. Just because when you look throughout this English side, like, they're not going to sack Ben Earl from that starting 8 jersey. Maybe they could have a reshuffle, but I don't think they'd bother. I think Chandler Cunningham South, the Curry brothers, I think those guys would all get picked ahead of Satutu in the eyes of the English coach Borthwick. But, you know, he could be a good man to go into the squad. And we have them, says Stuart. Now step there from Jacob Ratamaita Vuki Nepkins. He has freed up a bit of space for a counter-attack from the Highlanders. Ball on the inside of Fakatava. A bit of a slip from Havili, but they have still been able to stop him. Now around the side, Sawane Vakina. Advantage going in favour of the Highlanders. Now AB's boys playing good footy this season. Says Blues name 5 metres out. Looks like they're going to go after Sawane Vakina. Timothy Tavatava Nawa is almost begging for it. Out on the wing. Jonah no. Driven backwards. When you think on why hasn't there been a ref brought through the islands? I honestly don't know. I think it's probably more budget side of things. But yeah, it's an idea. Like I said it just before, but honestly, if they did it, it would actually probably go down quite well until people then start to say, oh, the refs, because the Fijian draw are lower on the table, they're trying to help them out. And then you just get into the same situation as we're currently in with the Aussie refs. As it only 7-0 now, it is currently 14-0 and looks like David Havili. Cynical yellow card. I think it's Cody Taylor. Yes, it is. will make his way from the field. That man's season has not gone to plan so far. And Savia, Satiti, Lakai, Blackadder, Karifi, Leo Wille, Yossi Jacobson, my loose forwards for the season. Says, seems Den Fred. Okay, so you're getting rid of Fee now. You're getting rid of... You haven't got Papali'i there. I'm trying to think of who else you've sacked from last year. Of course, Sam Kane, seeing as he's no longer in the picture. But it was a brilliant break initially from Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins, which then gives the Highlanders the man advantage for the next 10 minutes. It was a good scramble in the end, but Havili just losing his footing initially. That chief scrum half, Ratama, is playing great rugby currently. Hope he receives a call up by the ABs. Says Gerhardt. And fantastic try to say to says Moa Hunters. Yeah, Cody Taylor just in off his feet, trying to slow it down. Which does mean that they do have to make the change of Moa Nanu making his way on, and that is due to that Taylor yellow. So I wonder who it's going to be in the loose forwards that has to make their way off. I think that was either Leo Willie or I wouldn't be surprised if it was, say, Falloy, just because he's only just in the team. We have got there, I hate to say this, but the Crusaders are looking slick. I'm 5 minutes behind you, says Tony. Yeah, they're looking pretty handy with Will Jordan out there at the moment. But yeah, I hope you are doing well, Tony. I'm sure the last few weeks have been quite frustrating for yourself. But the thing is, like, you'll probably be able to back this up. The Blues still do have a chance of making the top six. Like, with the games that they've got remaining. Next week, if they get a bonus point win over the Western Force, they will be right up there in terms of right on the verge of that top six. Fabian Holland in the ABs. He's currently gone off the field earlier on injured, so whether or not that is still a likeliness, we will have to wait and see. I believe it was just an HIA, though. And another try coming soon. Hamish, please give us your try counts this half. I think we're going to see about 5 or 6 tries. Oh, that might be a bit optimistic. Maybe 4 or 5 I'll go instead. Good Vili, Hawaii joined a rugby team and joined Pacific Circle. I think travel-wise, they probably wouldn't allow it, but if there was like a money incentive there, they might consider. Now Whakatava with the pick and go, not exactly the biggest man to be trying to crash over the line. Now going short side again here. Severis getting in the breakdown, not able to get the steal. I do think if they find Timothy Tavatavanawa, he can more times than not find the try line. Definitely with where he is on the park. He's way down the right. But they seem to be going left just for now. Oh no, now Pakatava changes direction. Goes off to Ethan, a group hit hard by Leo Willie and Jamie Hanna. I don't think we're too far away from seeing the Highlanders really shift this one. There it goes. Cam Miller going across to the left-hand side. Thomas Umunga Jensen shut down early. Picked up again. Fakatava goes off. He was almost through. Sean Withy is very close to the try line now. Looks like it's going to be held up over the goal line. And it will be the goal line dropout for the Crusaders. We have got there. We suck balls and don't deserve to be anywhere near the finals, says Tony. Although I still, if the Blues finish 6th, I wouldn't want to be the team that play them in the playoffs, because they have, like, once they find, I don't know what's wrong with them at the moment, but if they can find some sort of form, like, they will be hard to beat, but they just haven't been able to do it consistently as of yet. And we have got there, Hamish, do you know Justin Tipperick for Wales? I do indeed. Not personally, but seen quite a few of his games, covered a few too. Andrew are winning Super Rugby, not really, but I have hope. Says Jad, and up the Crusaders, says Teofilo. Now stolen by George Bauer. Start to run this one forward again here for the Crusaders. Noah Hotham goes back to Reves Rehana, the early replacement for Taha Kamara. Towards the touchline, Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins has a bit of a slip as he passes it across to Cam Miller, who will put this one high, chase in after it, nicely claimed by Reves Rehana again, goes off to Hotham. Looking to find a bit of a gap and almost does so, but Fakatava counters his opposite number. We should have one more team. Give those miss-outs a go. And also we have good there. The problem with the Blues is that they are up against some good teams. Says not Australia. Well, they are. Like, Super Rugby comp at the moment has been more competitive this year than it almost ever has been. Saw Savia try earlier. Same type of try Justin Tipperick would score. Says Demon the 11th. Or a type of try that a lot of... Oh, I assume you're talking Artie Savia's, but that one, of course, was disallowed. Unless you're talking Julian's. Julian's was just a stock standard wing try. Yep, going to be kicked forward. That was a push, not necessary from Will Jordan. Probably lucky not to get penalised. And I don't know if Timothy Tava is the man to try and fire up. Landers still haven't scored G's. Says Smash proof they've been very close. We saved our best games for the games we've lost by 1 point or 2 to the Chiefs and Crusaders. Other than those games, we've been playing like I'm their tactical advisor, says Tony. Yeah, it's got to be frustrating because a side with, on paper, such a strong team, even with the injuries, you look at the side each week and you think, yep, they should go all right. And then something just doesn't click. Unfortunately, Justin did a lot of great chip and chase tries. It was the same as that, says Demon. Although no try for Artie Savia, sadly. Like we mentioned, it was disallowed due to a knock-on that happened back at halfway. Possession sitting 61% for the Crusaders, 63% territory. The Highlanders have been inside of the Crusaders 22 for more time, but Will Jordan doesn't need much time to score tries when he is in there. And handling errors, 4 from the Highlanders, 3 from the Crusaders. Well, oh, that sucks. Yeah, it did. And then a couple moments later, we saw Julian Savia score the try. The Landers are lulling the Crusaders into a false sense of security before they launch their attack. Well, hopefully they do it soon because 4 minutes remaining of the yellow card. So they'll want to make the most of that advantage. Currently, Crusaders have got the possession, passing it out wide to Macca Springer, who will go with the chip and chase, waiting for the bounce of the ball. It's cleaned up by Jacob Ratamaita-Nepkins. And he's going to be driven down inside of his in-goal area. That will become a 5-metre scrum now in favour of the Crusaders as it was taken back. Noah Hotham, Kyle Preston, Cam Roygard. My scrum half, says Den Fred, a little bit of push and shove there. Oh. I think TK Howden just having a bit of a chat there with Tom Christie, who was not having it. Looking very angry. And hey, Hamish, when is the next episode of the career mode? Which one? The Hurricanes or Crusaders? Well, but yeah, it was a nice little chip in behind from Macca Springer initially, and then I'm not sure what happened that caused a bit of push and shove. I think it was TK out, and then Jacob Ratamaita-Nepkins did what all 15s love to do, and that is throw the ball at the opposition's face. And gunplayers, it will be dangerous, says Mr. All-In. I put the whole squad on and the Crusaders and Chiefs won't win, says Mr. All-In. But sadly, it's hard to put the whole squad on when players are injured. That does normally affect them being able to play well. Carries made so far. 37 for the Highlanders, 35 for the Crusaders. So actually very even there. Another try for the Crusaders. They're on the verge of it. 5 metres out. They've made 300 metres already in this contest. And that is an ugly scrum that both sides have kind of gone sideways. Looks like Christian Leo Willies decided he's going to run straight at Damon Murphy. And drop ball from Scott Barrett. They will go back for the initial penalty. I wouldn't be surprised if a maybe line-out drive could be on the cards here, or maybe even another scrum. Damon Holland failed his HIA and won't be back, says Tony. So not ideal for the Highlanders, definitely with the amount of steals that man has been able to get, and also just the consistency of the Highlanders line-out when he's on there. I like it. We've almost got our sideline reporter in a way with Tony, because I didn't actually hear that they said about the HIA, so thank you very much, Tony. Greatly appreciate it. When is next episode for the Crusaders mode? Probably next week, I would say. We've only got 1 episode filmed at the moment, so I didn't want to go too far ahead just because or else we wouldn't have any episodes left. North of Auckland team would make sense, says Ronnie. I mean, it might geographically, but at the same time, it might be a bit of a concern for the Blues if they were to lose a few players to a team further north. I guess the further north team at the moment is Moana Pacifica in terms of where they play. Now, going off to the right-hand side here, Noah Hotham waiting for it. In fact, they're actually going to just leave that ball in there. That gets ugly real quick, and luckily for the Crusaders, the referee said it spun around and they're going to have a reset. I think they almost lost that scrum. But can you tell us a sneak peek? Do you win or not? I'll be honest, I don't actually remember. We filmed it probably about a month ago. Can you do a draw career mode? Once the game's a bit better, we'll be doing a few different ones. Until the game does get to a playable level, it's probably not on the cards for a while. Yeah, they are just showing that scrum there. Both sides haven't been clean at scrum time as of yet. Saturday morning classes is not a good idea for me because I miss a lot of Super Rugby Pacific on Saturday mornings because I forgot Hotham. It's also playing for the Crusaders, says Vaughan. Elias, you're tricking us, JK, says Ada. No, I just don't remember. I think if it's anything like the other games, we might have gone all right, just because we seem to find a vein of form, believe it or not. But, yeah, I don't even know who we're playing in that game. And we have got there, who do you think will win Super Rugby? At the moment, I think Crusaders or Chiefs are sitting very nicely. Christian Leo Willie tackled early by Pakatava. Cross kick attempted by Hotham. He's got too much on that. But Reese slaps it back in the field of play. And they're going back for another penalty against the Highlanders. They have to be very careful here. That's multiple infringements in a row inside of their 22. Does a Rugby PS5 game still eat? Yeah. It's getting slightly better, but not by a massive amount. You know, we're still waiting for it to really get there. Are you behind on time, says Chad? I'm currently live on Sky Sport, but Sky Sport's normally about 30 seconds behind everyone else. Just for fun, I guess. Right, they're showing there Reese. He did actually jump from within the field of play, so I believe that would have been play on. Would have been quite a phenomenal finish had they found a way over the try line. We have got their add a catchy title, who? John Kerwin. You don't know who John Kerwin is, Chad Baker? I would say just listen to a pre or post show of the Blues, and you'll know who it is pretty quickly. Moananu, Cody Taylor actually back out there on the field now, so they are going to go for yet again another rolling maul, I would think. It's been a bit dry when it comes to tries at the moment, Taylor. That's a good run from Christian Leo Willie. Oh, he's just 1 metre short. Taylor, though, with a pick and go, and does get it over the try line for try number 3 of the contest for the Crusaders. And after the 10 minutes in the bin, he's done his little hand up to the air, asking if the crowd are listening. I think they were possibly booing him a bit. It's always the way, isn't it? Do something cynical down the other end and then score a try when you come back onto the field. It's actually the perfect setup. We have got there Taylor, big powerful over. Sayers Roof. Now initially I thought Taylor might have been, oh no, he's done well to control that one. I thought he was going to have a trouble with Soani Vakina, but just goes round the side. That's game over, says Distractor Sports. The All Black score, it's 19-0. Says add a catchy title and Reds versus Blues would have been a draw. That red card was soft. Thoughts on the cards? I didn't think it was a red, but at the same time, we mentioned about it on the last stream as well. If you're going to do something like Talia did there, like, you know, as soon as you lift legs above the horizontal, you're just asking to be punished by the referees. You've got to give them a reason not to send you off the field, not a reason to start looking for one. And Talia did the complete opposite of what they should have done. You know, he covered the ground so well. Smash Tim Ryan, drive through, look for the turnover. That's all he needed to do. But instead he went, oh, I've got him here. Let's drop him on his head and see what happens. So, like, as much as I don't think a red card was completely the right call, it's at least a yellow, and it's very stupid from Mark Talia, just to put it bluntly. Oh, stolen again for the Crusaders. So they are causing all sorts of troubles at the moment for this Highlanders team, and this is down in Dunedin too. Game's over before halftime now. Says Smash Preview, it's going to take a mountain for them to get back into this contest. And boom bang crash. 3 tries in 20 minutes. Last time they said it was mum, it was dad. So that was both mum and dad who you heard in the background there for a second. They were getting their tea. Nicely taken by Cam Miller. Oh, and ripped away by Dallas McLeod. A very nice steal, so intentionally. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't, when you make a tackle, you can't tip a bloke up above the horizontal, because or else, like I said, you're just asking for the refs to give a reason to penalise you. Like, he did everything right up until he decided to lift the legs up at Tim Ryan. Sadly, red all day, not an intentional spear, but he lifted and the bloke landed directly on his head. Red as baboon's ass, says Tony, and that is from a Blues supporter. And there as well, I should clarify, which is, I guess, so that they don't get angry at you. But I think you love a bit of heat, don't you, Tony, overall? I think Will Jordan got a red card. When? He scored 2 tries. Oh, and that's going to be a drop ball from Ray Hanna. So now a chance here for a bit of a counter from the Highlanders. Tony, you ain't... Okay, so obviously Mr. Orland does not agree, but it's still, like, you know, it's at least yellow every day of the week for what he's done. Go Taranaki. They're just showing the Ethan de Groot on Rives Rayhana there. Oh, in fact, it was Will Jordan. The two were just having a little bit of a chat there, making sure everyone's all right. There was a bit of a slip and slide going on. And also my 15 for fullback, him is Sean Stevenson. My 14 is Amoni. 12 to Paya, Daniel 11. Mark on Calum. Also, you're going quite Chiefs base there. And also go the Wallabies. Says had a catchy title. I think it would be very hard for anyone to take the 15 jersey off Will Jordan, though, just based off current form. Like, the man's been looking pretty strong. I think it will open the door for a lot of talent. We have another team, says Ronnie. And go the Wallabies, says had a catchy title. What are the Highlanders going to do here? They do have the penalty. They weren't taking on the 3, were they? And thanks, Sweet Pete, says Tony. I mean, if you are in a non-swearing mood, Tony, you could come on for the halftime chat alongside Tim if you like. But I'm scared, just in case you're going to be dropping F-bombs. I think you've got Mark to the point how anytime you're in a video, he kind of sits there eagerly awaiting for the F-bomb. But now kicked him behind. Oh, that's not good from the Highlanders. They've just put their ball straight into touch. There go the Satyr, says for Pai. Whoever says it's over, didn't watch the Waratahs vs Pacifica match, says not us. Yeah, scoring, what was it, 30-something points in that second half. There is no way that's a red, says Mr. Orlin. Do you at least agree that it's a yellow, though, Mr. Orlin? That's probably the bigger question, because if you're saying not even a yellow, then I feel like everyone will know who you stand with in that scenario. Hamish has a mustache of magnificent proportions. Thank you very much, Ruth. I don't know if it's that great. Like, I do think that Nick White still definitely has me beat, but I do also think that if I had a mustache like Nick White, then I would get beaten. So I've decided against it. Give others a go. They won't learn unless put them there, says Spider Mick. That's true. Like, I'm not saying don't put Stevenson in the squad. I'm just saying, like, if you're looking at best fullback at the moment, Jordan probably still does get that title. Oh, Barrett almost getting his head on the wrong side there in the tackle. Absolutely, Hamish. I was here when it was live, when you said in the old days that wouldn't warrant a yellow, says Mr. Orlin. So, yeah, it's at least a yellow card. Was it harsh that it was a red? Some would say yes, some would say no. But either way, you're still off the field for at least 10 minutes. You want a wall, says Blues Nate. And also, we have got who's the best Australian team or Pacifica, Fiji, and Super Rugby to support? That's a tricky one. Like, I would say if you're looking for someone who's very strong at home and can challenge teams away, the Brumbies probably aren't a bad choice. Depending on who the Aussie players are that you actually liked. Did Hamish Bamby says add a catchy title? I didn't. I just didn't read off your Wallabies prediction because it was quite long and I didn't have enough time because there's a match going on. Currently sitting 12 metres out from the line at the moment for Lau Pakatava. Going off to this left-hand side here. Highlanders on hot attack, looking to find their way through. Plus with the New Zealand derby, it doesn't really matter for the Aussie teams, if that makes sense, just for now. In that Brumbies Hurricanes game, absolutely put it again, and we probably will get a chance to be able to read it. Well, the two South Island sides going head-to-head, and with James O'Connor not even on the bench, it's a bit of a sad sight for the Aussie players in this game. Now, Falau Fakatava going back across to the right-hand side, off to Ethan de Groot. Fakatava now, what's that? He's going with the inside ball to Jonah Lowe. The Mothi Tava Nawa. You can see how badly the man wants the ball. He's going to be held up there, though, for Seula Mau. And brilliant defence from the Crusaders, but I think it sounds like they've conceded the penalty anyway. Will Jordan was having a quiet season till now, but I guess he is still world-class, says NZ Riot. I mean, he had a bit of a quiet season because I think there were a few games in the middle that he... Was he playing? No, he might have been playing all of them. I think it was more so that any game that Will Jordan has quiet, Sevu Reece and Macca Springer have about 5 tries combined. So, like this game, we haven't seen Macca or Reece get themselves a try as of yet. And, you know, that's when Will Jordan seems to really fire up. Another Brumbies, though, says Jed. And up the Landers score, Landers back into it. Oh, never mind, not fair. Says, add a catchy title. I can jump on if you're okay with less than optimal sound. Can't be asked setting up. I mean, I would be happy if we're agreeing on the not optimal sound, like PG 13, maybe, if you can. I know that it's hard to do, but it is ideal. I've learned recently that we've got quite a few kids who watch, and I feel bad when we swear, even though I haven't dropped a F-bomb in a little while. Oh, we have their team other than Brumbies, Hamish. I mean, you could look at the Reds. Probably not a bad team to support. The Western Force, if you love a bit of an underdog. Get the ball to Aaron Smith. And the Red says a Galaxy there. And also, like I said yesterday, who will stop the Crusaders? It's going to be tough to do. Looks like Mitchell Dunshea up against his old side is just going to be going off for the blood bin here. Highlanders need to cut the stuff and go back to hibernate until 2026. MF Kids, says Tony. Lasanga, he has made his way on. He was the man who was singing along to the Australian national anthem at the start of the game, or at least he was maybe mouthing the words. And I missed the halftime days with you and Hamish. Says Blues Nine. And don't forget Tim. Tim's also popping on for a bit of a chat. Who else can we chuck in? You want to chuck Mark a message to? Tony, we'll just get every single person we can think of on the channel in the short period of time. I think a bit of social swearing is okay. Says Galaxy. I think Waratahs will draw it. You're picking my team. Says Chad. Now, rolling this one back, it is going to be Noah Hotham. Only 3.5 minutes remaining. And Crusaders are owning this game, says Anthony. Hotham does get it into touch. Are you doing the Canes game tonight? We certainly are, alongside 3 more games of the URC. Lions versus Connacht. Stormers versus Benetton. And then Ulster versus the Sharks. We got 12 hours worth of just matches. Probably about 13 or 14 hours worth of the commentary for today. That's not including the match we did this morning at 6:30 a.m. or the matches last night. So she's a busy old weekend in the world of rugby. Jonah Lowe now. Moving up to only about 15 metres out from the line here for the Highlanders. If they want any chance of being able to win this contest, they just need to find a way of breaking through and scoring once. Put them back to 14. Oh, yeah, holy smokes, that's a bit much, my dude. It is. It really is. But all of the games are relevant to the playoffs at the moment, so it makes it tricky to miss one. I wish I chipped my tooth on a frozen Smarties. Ow. That would have hurt. Why did you freeze the Smarties out of curiosity? Was it like to go with the ice cream, or did you just want something really hard? Because it just sounds like a recipe for a broken tooth. I once chipped a tooth on a fork because I bit it. And I learned after that, don't bite forks. Like, unfortunately, I was trying to hit a chip, or not hit a chip, but eat a chip and just got the fork instead. And we have got there. I heard that Kalen Ponga was singing the Kiwi national anthem last night. Says Ed Smith. And also Cardiff beat Munster, says John. They certainly did in a draw between Zebre and Edinburgh was the other result in the URC. No game has been separated by 7 or more points as of yet. Fantastic 4 assembled. The Kiwi lads distract the Sports Rugby Itch and the Professor Mark, although I don't think Mark's are confirmed at the moment. He might even be live at the moment for this game, so that would make it tricky for himself. Okay, no, he's not, but he's probably watching it, I would think. It's Rugby Mate. They have to learn that swearing is part of the game. So many good players from Auckland. They starters for other Super Rugby teams. I once chipped a tooth on a flamethrower. Well, you won't do that again, I wouldn't think. Those things are quite solid. Probably one of the least injuries that you could have from a flamethrower, though. Chipped tooth. Kalen Ponga wants to switch allegiances to the Kiwis. And also the fallout from yesterday's Bulls game here in South Africa is nasty. Why did Villy kick the ball out? I think it's fine because we just needed the win. Yeah, I think that people are slightly getting ahead of themselves. Like, don't get me wrong, Glasgow are a good side, but they've got 2 very tough games for their last 2 matches. And the Bulls, I think, should win both of their contests. So I think the Bulls still finish where they would have, even if they got that bonus point. But I think it's just a reason for people to complain about Philly LaRue. I once chipped a tooth with a... Oh, that's impressive at a catchy title. That would have been an awkward conversation with the dentist, unless it was his. But going off to the right-hand side, it's a quick fix in that scenario. Nice run from Sawani Vakina. Now back across to the right-hand side, Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins. Going to be tackled. The Crusaders do have to release him about 10 metres out from the line. And once again, the Highlanders, this is going to be their last attacking chance of the half. I better start sending some invites. I know it was a chicken, not that. Yeah, maybe the dentist gave you the chicken. You didn't think of that. A halftime siren just sounding. And yeah, the Crusaders says Amaze. Who's the draw's biggest rivalry? Probably at the moment, I would say I think Moana Pacifica, probably, just in terms of head-to-head and back-to-back that they've gone with. them. We'll go like this. I have to remember what Tony's email is. There it is. And there we go as well. Now going off to the right-hand side here. Jonah Lowe waiting patiently out on the wing, but just struggling to shift it out wide. Shout out to the young bro. Sione Finau playing for the Dragons. Look out for the star, Tony. I hope he plays for Toa. But sure he will choose MMT for his dad. Now cross kick attempted by Jacob Rata Maita. Vuki Nepkins dropped by Lasanga. But I don't think it was knocked on. So it's going to be play on now for Thomas Umunga. Jensen got it away to Miller. Fakatava 5 metres out from the line again. Crusaders looking for the counter ruck. They are unable to get it in. Another penalty advantage going the way of the Highlanders. Good morning from South Africa. Just want to hear if the Bulls are in the quarters of the URC. They should be. They are currently sitting third on the overall standings. Fakatava goes across again. Cam Miller passes one more to Jonah Lowe. I think, honestly, if they give the ball to Timothy Tavatavanawai, try get scored. Although he's going with a pick and go here, so that will be quite tricky to do. Although he still manages to break through two. Pass the ball now, says how to catch title, and they are going back for another penalty. This has to be close to another, double blow of the whistle from Damon Murphy. This isn't sounding too good here. Oh no, clearly under pressure. Next one goes to the bin, yeah. Can you decide my Super Rugby team, please? Fiji and draw. Easy peasy. I think they were your side, weren't they? And I Hamish had a great day. A lot of families searching at cemeteries. What were the scores yesterday? Crusaders 40, Highlanders 20. So in terms of the upcoming ones, the previous games, we saw the Chiefs win comfortably up against the Force. The Reds beat the Blues by 14, and Moana Pacifica won by about that 14, or I think it was 12 margin over the Fijian Rule. We got a donation from Tony there. Flick the boy some coin for his mammoth efforts. You tight mofos, says Tony there. I chipped my tooth with my first kiss. It was embarrassing. Never saw her again. What South Africa games are coming up? So we have got Lions versus Connacht, Benetton versus the Stormers, and Ulster versus the Sharks. And we are covering all three of them on the channel now, so I never can. We're up to 43 minutes through this first half. And it just seems like currently the Highlanders are on the verge of scoring, but the Crusaders are also on the verge of getting another yellow card. Where is Timothy Tavatavanawai? Looks like they're going to repeatedly go for the forwards. Cody Taylor trying to get in there. He's already had a yellow card, and now he wins the penalty for the Crusaders. I do think the Highlanders needed to shift that one. And go the Crusaders. We on board, boys. Says Bodine. And good stuff. See you later. Says return in there as well. I've just said there that Tom Christie was in the way. So it possibly should have been the penalty going the way of the Highlanders. Yeah, he actually does get in the way there. So it makes it quite hard to try and get that clean out. Brother should have taken that penalty kick. Says out a catchy title. And good stuff. See you later. Says return in there as well. But halftime in this contest, ladies and gentlemen. It is 21-0 in favour of this Crusaders team. 2 tries from Will Jordan. The other try coming for Cody Taylor. And now, second half just around the corner. Man, halftime was quick. It was. Some of these games just absolutely fly by. In terms of the benches for this match, ladies and gents, Jack Taylor, Bartlett, and Kautai as the front row replacements. Haig and Lasanga has already made his way onto the field, and so is Ollie Haig. He replaced Fabian Holland. Lasanga replaced Dun Shea. And then Hasty, Gilbert, and also Wanga there as the number 23 for the Crusaders. Moananu, he was on the field briefly. Tamaiti Williams, Sykes Martin as the 17 and 18. Cahill Kello, Preston, Reves Reihana. He came on early due to the injury that we did see for his teammate. And then also Che Fiaki there as the number 23. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, we have got a bit of a treat for you guys at halftime. We have got multiple guests popping on at the same time. It's been about a month probably since we've had a guest, and now we've got 2 in the one go. What we will quickly do is put up the score for this game just while we are at halftime, because the 3-man layout is the way that we're going to do it. But we're going to go like this and like this as well. I see both of them eagerly awaiting to pop on. There we go. That was some pressure typing. But ladies and gentlemen, I will quickly first put Tim in because I see the other man is pulling the fingers. So we'll chuck Tim on. Hello, Tim. How are you? And then we will also add Tony as well, and we will try and change the size of you guys.
What's up?
No. Oh, Tony's gone. Hang on, Tony. We can hear you, but we can't see
Where
you.
have I gone?
Why am I so big? How do I switch that around a little bit?
I've always wondered why you're so big. I really have. Your mother said you were born with an enormous penis, which I can only say I'm proud of you.
When have you been talking to my mum, Tony?
I talk to your mum all the time.
She's a lovely lady, isn't she?
She's a great.
I'm going to have to quickly change the layout. One moment, we'll go like this, and don't worry, Tony, you're about to come in.
What is it?
As well, add an item. We had a camera slot in the middle. This is all on the fly, ladies and gents, so bear with me just briefly. But currently,
doing a great job.
I'm panicking big time,
You're
Tony.
really smashing it out of the park here.
Hey, Mitch, is this the rugby recap here? What's going on?
I know, it's a bit scrappy, isn't it?
I've been on the rugby. Look, I'm here. I've been on the rugby recap. Man, I really knocked it out of the park. It was a hugely highly rated episode. I think we got 6 views. It was pretty good.
And only guest, and now the podcast has retired. Unfortunately, she's gone.
Oh, has it?
She's gone away. Yep.
Oh no! What happened, boys?
Me and Tim had a massive fight, and we
it's true.
had to call it quits.
He was talking all sorts of shit behind your back, and you know when he was saying all these nasty things about you, I kept on saying to him, "Look, we all know that Hamish has got his faults. We really do. There's a lot of them, but he's not that bad." So I was sticking up for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh
Tony.
no! Bring back the rugby recap. Balls.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to get something going at some stage. I think we almost got to 50 episodes. But speaking of 50, Crusaders eyeing up that 50 points here, unfortunately, if the Highlanders cannot get back into the contest. I know it sounds harsh, but we've seen what they've done in some of their second halves, and they just like to propel forward. And the Highlanders needed that try in the first half, didn't they?
They needed that try just before halftime to keep it competitive. That was getting tries either side of halftime is always a massively powerful time to score. So if they could have got points then and then started with a points in the first 10 minutes of the second half, then maybe game on. But she's a dead dodo now, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's going to take a monumental comeback, a Moana Pacifica type of comeback, you could say. But the Highlanders, the biggest concern is that last 20 minutes, they're the worst team for points in the comp.
Can I say one swear word? Just one.
Depends on what one it is.
It's a big one. It's a big word.
How about you try and half by censor yourself?
It is a fucking travesty that that try. I was so sad that try that Artie Severe scored was disallowed. His chip ahead try, that deserves the F word, doesn't it? Come on.
It was one of the better tries, and then Julian goes and says, "I'll just take it." About 2 minutes later, and scores the try himself. But yeah, Moana, they're right outside of that top 6 at the moment. They find themselves in 7th.
Which is great.
It's a very close competition, and I feel like this is one of those games for the Highlanders. If they can't win it, you still need 1 point or something just to get you that little bit closer to being able to qualify within that top 6. Tim, a green hat wearing leprechaun. Tim's not even Irish. How did he get that shot fired?
To be fair, I have an Irish passport.
So you do, You've got many passports, don't you?
Exactly.
Which the other American passport, isn't it?
Pretty sure Tim's like a James Bond kind of character. He's got multiple passports, multiple nationalities.
That's what I'm going off. Yeah,
international man of mystery. Really,
I'm a villain. I'll be more villain rather than Bond.
Really?
Yeah,
that's an interesting choice, Tim. Because I've always known you as being a nice guy, but perhaps you've got that
like
other side to you.
I've always liked the villains in Bond. Like they're actually just like they're iconic villains, really. Like, but the one I like the most is the God, I don't know his name actually, like in the movie, but the guy who.
Well, can I interrupt you? I thought I was here to talk shit, and you were here to talk rugby. I've talked rugby, and you're talking some absolute shit.
No, we're not switching roles now. You get to now talk about rugby. I'm just talking about we're talking about movies.
Yeah, right. But, yeah. I like the guy who threw a hat and Goldfinger. He was pretty cool.
Exactly. Him.
But
I
no,
haven't
Moana
seen any of the
Pacifica, mate,
movies.
they're close by. And you consider they had that 1 point loss to the Force early on. And I think they had another real tight loss that they met very, very early on. If they had those 2 wins, boy, oh boy, they're still in it, but they could be well and truly in it. And we're not doing us Blues fans, we're struggling. We're not doing anything to get anywhere near the top 6 right now. I know we're still mathematically in it, but boy, we are just playing.
Yeah, we're far off it. Yeah,
with dodgeballs. What are your thoughts been of the Blues season so far? I know you're a fan, Tim, aren't you? That's your Super Rugby team would be the Blues.
I was telling Hamish, luckily, I wasn't actually able to see the game live because I was on a flight when it was happening. But man, I watched the highlights and just extended version. I can just tell the game was so frustrating to watch because the Blues were just giving up the ball. It wasn't actually the Reds. Look, you can say the Reds we all know are a good team, but at the end of the day, the Blues gave them that win because we gave the possession back to them so many times that game.
Yeah,
and we just didn't take our chances. So it's one of those where it's like the complete opposite of what happened last year because the Blues were clinical and we were good in kind of not giving the ball away. We actually did well in kind of holding on to the ball. So
did right. We were so good last year getting into that red zone and just converting pressure into points.
Yeah.
Whereas yesterday what was frustrating yesterday was the Reds didn't actually have to work too hard for their points. They got some opportunity every time they went to the red zone. They got easy gaps, like not a huge amount of phases inside the 22, and you can see what the territory stats that reflected it too. But we were held up or something 5 times or something ridiculous.
Times.
So getting over the line,
it's a record for this year. Yeah.
Oh,
it's crazy.
What a load of bullshit. Is that okay?
That's all right, I guess. But the biggest thing as well was
you can't change it now.
I think the Reds, in those scenarios, that was their tactic. Get on the ball, pull them over, held up. But then it was only really when Kurt Eklund hesitated, let them go first, and then he scored over the top.
Yeah.
I think they just took too long to adapt to the Reds' game plan because, you've got all these guys in the back line. Ioane, Talia at the time, of course, before he got sent off. But you've got these world-class, Rico is still, in my opinion, a world-class finisher, even though he's had his tough little patch. He's Tim's favourite player, Tony, so say nice things about him. But
it's your favourite player, is he?
He's always been he's the guy that kind of first got me into watching the Blues for a long time. I mean, again, I was a Blues fan before, since 2011. But he's the guy that really just took it to the next level.
Yeah, that back line should be firing when you think about Caleb Clark wasn't in there yesterday, but Caleb Clark, Talia, Bodie when he's there. Bodie was in there for the majority of the second half yesterday.
Yeah.
Even Lamb plays very, very well and has been.
Lamb's been actually pretty good this year. He's actually been one of our better players this year. I mean, even Clark wasn't playing yesterday, but still, it's one of those where the game just showed you we're not getting the ball out enough towards the wingers. And look, it's one of those where I understand it because the way we won last year was through the forwards. It wasn't actually through the backs. It was just more where we pressure through the forwards. We get that penalty advantage, and then we pass it out wide. Yesterday, we weren't getting any penalty advantages. That's the problem with the Blues. Because we didn't get any penalty advantages, we weren't using the ball as well, and we weren't, we made mistakes.
Totally.
It was a tough watch. So
we've also had this interrupted playmaker sort of situation where it was Bodie's back, he's going to be our number 10, even though Plummer did such a great job of directing us around the park last year. So, and then, Bodie went and got that hand injury, was out for a long time, but was it really Plummer's team? Not really, kind of Plummer's. So I think Plummer did such a great job last year of, officially being given the keys to the wheel by Dad and said, this is your team for the year. And he really took it on himself to really drive that team round. But we just look a little bit rudderless, and then, Bodie isn't the same sort of game man. He can be at times, but sometimes we do still see sort of meaningless kicks, and we just still rely on his, 2 or 3 bits of magic a game, but that is often not enough to actually win you a game. And the most frustrating thing about one of the most frustrating things for me for being a Blues fan this season is actually the fact that they looked great against the Crusaders and looked great against the Chiefs, the two top teams. They looked like they were in the mix with those teams, that they're on that level. But losing to the Brumbies, losing to who else we lost to? Losing to the Reds last night.
Highlanders.
Losing the Highlanders in round 2. That was inexcusable. considering what hell, it's not like the Highlanders have gone on to do great things. They've got worse and worse. So yeah, we're just losing games that we shouldn't lose, and then we're pushing games that we probably shouldn't win. We're still losing them, and it's only really the Hurricanes that we've got the number over. It's all a bit shit, really. Anyway,
okay. So I'm going to ask you this question about the Blues, and we will talk a little bit more about the Crusaders Highlanders. Yes or no? Yes. Are the Blues finishing in the top 6?
That is the question.
It's hard to know because it's really because it's to be fair, our fate isn't actually in our own hands right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we could win all the games and every game we've got from here on out. Who we got? Moana Pacific. We got the Force next week. Moana Pacifica. Yep. Those are 2 teams that are going for that number 6 spot as well. They in the 6 is the Force in the 6 at the moment.
They are currently
they're 5th, I think. It's the Waratahs.
Yeah, Waratahs on 21.
What are you smoking about, you cheeky little bitch?
I'm just listening to someone. Obviously, dishes are being done or something, but someone's throwing plates and all sorts in the background.
Oh, over here. Yeah.
I couldn't help but have a little bit of a chuckle. But someone said that it was Tim's servants.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, in my room here. For sure.
No. It's at my end. Yeah. It's all good.
So yes or no? You're saying yes, Tony, at just this point in time?
I am saying I don't. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think so.
I actually think we can. Because I'm looking at the fixtures right now of what we have to do. I think the Force will get in, just going off the fixtures they have left and kind of what. And I just think the season they've had so far, they've actually really impressed me. So I think they're the team that I think can slide in. But I think it comes down towards the Waratahs. And of course, we faced the Waratahs in the last game of our season. So that could kind of dictate kind of who gets in and who gets out. But again, it may come down maybe towards like bonus points even. The Blues may have to rack up a lot of bonus point wins to even get into that scenario. So but I'm going to back the Blues. I mean, I got to back them. I think they have the capability. But
I feel like we're about to see some food. Are we? Is this what's going
on?
No,
we're not. I'm not eating any food. I'm heading downstairs to get away from the kitchen.
To the man cave.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a follow-up question as we just see Rob Penny, the Crusaders head coach, having a bit of a chat. They had more possession, more territory in the half. Highlanders are really going to struggle to get back into this one. So same question about the Blues for the Highlanders. Can they make it into the top 6? You think they're less likely than the Blues?
I don't know. Yeah. I just don't see the quality on the park, really. And the quality in past performances. Whakatava is a great player. What is a winger named Timothy
Tavatanawai.
Yeah. I can't see it.
On that moment, Tony is completely frozen. So that's probably a good time to say second half just about to get underway, ladies and gents. So we will be popping away, but I do thank you all very much for being here. Of course, 2 guests. Welcome back, Tony. But yeah, enjoy the second half. Crusaders just kicking off, and I'm sure we'll get another catch up at some stage relatively soon. Kiwi Lads gets distracted by 2 cents, maybe coming in the near future some stage.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 100th episode's coming up soon, so we're gonna.
I keep up with the pods. You guys are doing really well with that.
Thanks,
Tim will be the villain outside the window spying, seeing as he has international abilities. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for being here, and I'll see you guys a bit later on, maybe, or tomorrow, some stage, next week.
See you, mate.
Bye. And we'll go like this, and we will go like that. There we go. Half-time, ladies and gentlemen. 21 points to 0 at the moment. We are going back for another advantage that was in favour of the Highlanders. Now, we mentioned, in fact, it was the knock-on against Timothy Tavatanawai. So we haven't seen a huge amount of, clinicalness, I guess you could say, from this Highlanders team. We have got there earlier on, you're lucky that the Tars can't play away, so they will probably drop out. Yeah, I think that they've just had a couple too many games where they've let it slip through their fingers. Maybe a little bit similar to what you could say about the Blues. Now we go there, bye-bye, guys. The 2 Ts, Tim and Tony. Both joining in for that one. Basically, if the Blues get in, it will be a scrape-in. But the thing is, if they sneak in, I still don't think I'd want to be the team that have to play them. You could look at either the Chiefs or the Crusaders going head-to-head with the Blues. And those are 2 sides that the Blues have been able to push this year. So, I don't think they'd want to have them in the face-to-face if they can avoid it. We have got their Blues can't concentrate if the ref uses this whistle vigorously against them, says Spider Mech. Well, the unfortunate thing is it hasn't just been the penalties, though, that have been costing the Blues. It's been their handling, which I think has been, like, this is going to sound harsh, but I do think this has been the worst season handling-wise that we've seen from the Blues in quite some time. So the fact that, yes, there are a few penalties going against them, but outside of that, you still need to score your tries when you get the chance because, yes, the ref can give penalties, but he's not making you drop the ball. Oh, they are going back for an offside penalty against the Highlanders. Agreed, says Mr. Orlin. And the Brumbies in the red, says Roof. So I guess this is probably a good time while we have just got a penalty. Of course, I asked Tim and Tony, do let me know, ladies and gents, who's in your top 6? I would assume more than likely. In fact, are we at the stage of the comp that we can safely say Brumbies, Reds, Chiefs, Crusaders all through? I think we're probably there. So I guess who are your other 2 teams that you think will make it through to the next stage? Anyone can still theoretically make it. The draw, it's a bit more challenging, but if they went on a winning streak from here, they could actually make it, I believe, just into that top 6. Reds and Crusaders final 2 in red, says Ruth. I haven't bothered to check their list, Kiwi Rob. And next week game, Blues versus Drill. So they have got Force versus Blues next week. That is a home game for the Blues and one that they have to win substantially. Looks like now it's going to be the line out. Corey Kello also has made his way on for the Crusaders. It's not for Christian Leo Williams. He has just taken the quick tap, and it is actually going to be Saifaloi who goes off. Force Hurricanes, says Kevin. So it seems like he's gone off for the HIA too. So we've already had about 4 of those throughout this match. Them off there. Tava Nawai gets on the ball and does win the penalty there for the Highlanders. Now, I hope him doing everything he could to stop the quick tap opportunity, even though I feel like that would have actually benefited the Crusaders as the Highlanders would have given up their chance of kicking it into touch. 45 matches for Tava Nawai. 14 tries. That man has scored. Now Cam Milley will kick this one into touch for the Highlanders. And try to try Hamish. And also Blues versus Force, Fijian draw versus Blues, Moana Pacifica versus Blues, a bye, and then the Blues versus the Waratahs is the finish, says Ashley. And also Crusaders fly half looks like a young Dan Carter, says Atkins. I assume you're talking Reves Rehan or you're saying Taha Kamara, because Kamara's gone off, so I assume you are now saying about Reves. Now Whakatava. Go back into the pocket, finds Cam Miller, who does kick it high. And up for that one, Will Jordan knocks it on as Jonah Lowe hanging off him too. Ratamotabuki Nepkins tried to keep it alive, and we will go back for, once again, the scrum. And the Blues are experiencing the cost of an awful start, and we need to activate Desperation Miracle Mode already. Well, that's the thing. They've found some great moments throughout this year. Their second half up against the Crusaders was one of the best halves we have seen from the Blues. But once again, like Tony was alluding to, they've been close, but then they don't win those crucial games, which they need to. Like that game next week up against the Force, I've mentioned about it already, saying they need a bonus point win. But honestly, like just winning that game would be a good start for the Blues after some of their recent form. Tackles missed at the moment for the Highlanders. They have missed 13, 87% tackle completion, alongside the 89% that we've seen for the Crusaders, who have missed 17 of their 139 attempted. Well, Whakatava now goes across to Jonah Lowe. And that looked like it might have been a little knock on the ground from Lowe, but it is going to be play on. Whakatava gives it off to Miller, who does knock the ball backwards. Goes to Thomas Umunga Jensen, tackled by Havili. I do still think that there are plenty more tries left in this contest for these two teams. Downfield from Cam Miller. Will Jordan claims it at the back, passes across to Severis, who is trying to chase down Julian Savia. They know that they can't let him through, so Stoddard stands strong on the halfway line. Back across to the right-hand side again, Fletcher Null. Hotham. Off to the left-hand side again, Tom Christie. Tackled well by Jake Tahiwi. Highlanders, they are really missing Caleb Tangitau, I would say, in terms of his ability of being able to break through, although they haven't been using the Mofi Tava Nawai throughout this match. There have been multiple times that they could have shifted it, But decided against the Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkin's going to be tackled by David Harvili. Back across to the left again, Zoane Vakina, tackled by Taylor. Has the stream recovered from that terrible language, says Tony? I think so. I think that everyone was probably, they saw your face, they've seen the podcast, and they went, that man likes to say a few unique words. Does the podcast get censored? I don't think it does sometimes, does it? I know the videos seems to, well, I think that was the first video Mark's had you on for a while. But, yeah, do the podcast, I think some of the words sneak through, don't they? The slightly less aggressive ones. Chiefs, Satyrs, Brumbies, Reds, Force, and Blues. So here's Mr. All-In for his top 6. Also, you're saying the Tars miss out. You're saying that the Hurricanes, Highlanders, and whatnot also do miss out there. They are just showing there. They are first in quarter 3, the Crusaders. They have scored almost double the points in this next 20-minute period that the Highlanders have scored throughout the last quarter of a game as well. So it just shows you how good this Crusaders side can be in the second half. Also in the last quarter, they have scored the 5th most points. Highlanders sitting down at 11th. No censorship on the pod. We swear slightly less on Mark's channel, says Tony. Now, trying to go through. Fakatava, nice run forward from Seulama, who looks for the offload, but Bell is back there. It's going to be taken back. Oh, the man's had a blinder. Or not a blinder, but a blunder. And Will Stoddard almost scored that one. If no, Tony says, legend. I still remember back when Mark, I can't remember what video it was, but he said about how he was going to have a bit of a rant. And he ended up saying in the intro, he was like, anyone who might be listening with kids, just be warned that I might say some bad words. And then I think he dropped like a couple F-bombs later on. The good old days. A very good evening, Hamish, and all viewers from Brisbane, says James. And bloody Highlanders, stop kicking the ball away and grow some balls, says Jason. So he is not beating around the bush. I feel like bush and balls goes together in this scenario, but Jamie Joseph absolutely loving it there. And they were almost able to score it. The Highlanders are now going to be 5 metres out from the line. Give the ball to Timothy Tavanawai. As if that man gets a little bit of space, he's scoring. The only time he's had it really at the moment is a pick and go. Or get it out to Jonah Lowe. He's on this near side or far side, depending on how you're looking at the field. It's like Cam Miller's got a little bit of a bleeding eye side. What do you call this part of your face? It's next to your eye, but is there like a specific name for it? Because that's what's bleeding. Falau Fakatava going off to this right-hand side. Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins once again tries to carry. Off to Ethan Negru, who's dropped the ball. But they're going back for the penalty advantage, so this might almost be close to a yellow card, wouldn't it? The amount of penalties that have been going against the Crusaders. This time it was for offside. Blues, Hamish and Blues, Nate, how dreadful were our beloved Blues last night. I was there and it was like a funeral. Yeah, they certainly did not find their stride again, which has become a bit too much of a common statement throughout this year. And we've got there, g'day Ruth, says James, and eye socket. So is that still your eye socket out here? So yes, getting a cut on your eye socket just sounds really, really painful. And it probably is. Nice run from Cam Miller and a nice pick up there too. 5 metres out from the line. Christian Leo Willie wanted the turnover, wasn't able to get it. See, Timothy Tavanawai is right next to the breakdown because he knows that he's not getting the ball out on the wing. Now, chance here for Umunga Jensen. Doesn't quite get over. Fakatava. Ball across there. This is very close for the Highlanders. It's Jake Tahiwi this time. Can't go over. Here comes Timothy Tavanawai playing like a forward. Fakatava, pick and go, goes on to Swane Vakina, and again they will hold him up and turn him over on his back, and it's a goal line dropout from the Crusaders. The Highlanders are doing exactly what the Blues did yesterday, and unfortunately that is a lack of thinking on attack, to say it bluntly. They have had chances, but the Crusaders, they're doing the same thing as the Reds. They're holding them up, they're pulling them over the line. This is now, I believe, the 3rd goal line dropout, or at least it would have been had it not been for penalty advantage beforehand in the other scenarios. But I don't understand why they're so scared to shift the ball. Looks like Sykes Martin, he has only recently made his way onto the field and looks like he might already be making his way off. Does anyone know how the Warriors went? They actually managed to win that game kind of comfortably up against the Knights. Yeah, this does not look good for Sykes Martin. I think that we're about to see Fletcher Null make his way back out onto the park. Although, actually, sorry, I think it's going to be Tamaiti Williams makes his way on. That's for the big shot on Timothy Tavatanawai. And Williams, as the number 17, will come on, which means Bauer now looks more than likely like he will be playing the full 80 minutes, as Sykes Martin does not look fresh. Thomas Umaga Jensen is a great crash over the line guy also. Exactly, like they've got all these powerful runners of the ball in their backline. Low, Tahiwi, Umaga Jensen, Tavatanawai, the pace of Jacob Ratamai, Tavuki Nepkins, but they're persisting with trying to crash over with the forwards, which the Crusaders have defended almost perfectly throughout this match. Now, inside ball off to Jacob Ratamai, Tavuki Nepkins. Across to the right-hand side, Cam Miller goes to Mitchell Dunshea. And they right their wrongs here, the Highlanders. It will be a frustrating one for the crowd down in Dunedin to witness. Almost a chance at a turnover there. Hasty tries to snipe through, thought about the offload. It wasn't on, and it's going to be another knock-on from the Highlanders. Will Jordan with the big kick, looking for the 50-22. That is very close to it, but it's just outside of the 22-metre line. Will Jordan asking the touch judge. That touch judge looked familiar. Was that? Who's the touch judge for this game, ladies and gents? Was it local fella? I'm going to have a quick look here. Hopefully they do show the touch judge. We're just skipping through a little bit to find the information. Yeah, it's the local boy who lives relatively close to him. I actually coach his son in cricket. Fun fact. But now, line out throw here for Zoani Vakina. It's the same as the Bulls did to Glasgow as well, says Fleshen. We have there as the crowds. James, NRL games interrupted. And Jordan putting on the pressure, nicely claimed by Ethan DeGroot. Trying to come in through the middle is Corey Kello, and we have got what are the Highlanders doing in this game, says Kevin. They are just really butchering it, I think is the best way of describing it at the moment. They haven't been clinical at all. It's just is going to hurt them in the long run, I believe. Nice run from Severis, going sideways, offload to Harvili. That was a forward pass, which the touch judge has picked up. And we'll go back for the scrum for the Highlanders, about 27 minutes remaining now. By the time the scrum happens, probably about 26. Severis decided to go at Umaga Jensen in there. David Harvili with the netball pass forward to Dallas McLeod. It was the right idea, and they were going to go for the kick in behind afterwards, but just needed that one to go slightly further backwards first. So the zoo is still relatively full for this contest. They've just said there that the HIA has been failed. Oh, it's interesting. I think that Jacob Ratamai-Tavuki... Oh, no, there he is. I thought for a second he was being changed, and I was thinking he's been one of the better players out there on the field for the Highlanders. Looks like Cam Miller, the one who is leading the huddle at the moment. Dunshea's face is all messed up with all the blood coming out of the side of the nose. David Harvili featuring your AB's captain. I'm getting roasted for this. Says the Blues Nate. I wouldn't have him as captain, but honestly, if Harvili got selected in the ABs, I wouldn't be surprised this year. Last year, everyone was shocked because he had been in some of the worst form that he's been in recent years. This year, he's actually looked decent at number 12. And yes, he just had a forward pass, so timing's everything. But like overall, he's had a pretty strong season for the Crusaders in that midfield. Plus, if you're looking at Will Jordan in there, plus a couple other Crusaders guys in there too, you're probably going to see Harvili maybe sneak in. Lasanga, he has made his way onto the field again. That is for Stoddard. And front rows have collapsed. Penalty goes the way of... Oh! Damon Murphy switches his mind. He first gave it to the Highlanders, then gave it to the Crusaders. Which ain't no way. Says Mr. All-In. The thing is, that's what everyone said last year, and he still made it in. So you have to ask the question, what was it that got David Harvili into the All Blacks? Because it certainly wasn't form. So with Razor still as the coach, I wouldn't be surprised if Havili's in the squad. Outstanding performance by David Havili and Michael Jordan. Says Blues Nate. Yeah, David Murphy initially given the penalty to the Highlanders and then taken it back. Oh, and by Will Jordan, sorry, rather than Michael Jordan. I was wondering where the kind of coalition was between them. Bribing? Not so much bribing. I just think, obviously, Scott Robertson, he's coached David Havili for multiple years and probably knows what that man can do when he's in form, and has worked out that he would fit quite nicely in the plan and the tactics that he was going to be going with. You know, it's no different to when we see a Waikato coach selecting more Chiefs players or an Auckland coach selecting more Blues players. But it seems to be when Razor does it that people seem to get quite offended by the selection. Christian Leo Willie now charging forward 25 metres out. Ethan de Groot is very overrated. Would be happy if he moved on and let someone new make his own name instead of de Groot being praised for passes or past performances. Has been these days, says Jason. Now off to the right-hand side. It's going to be another advantage. This time going against the Highlanders here. Now going to the left-hand side. Bit of a miscommunication, but Will Jordan does clean it up. Tries to sling and pass. Jacko Ratamaitavuki takes it, so they will go back for the penalty again. Who's on field? Says Maddie. Who's on, as in like the players? Maybe in terms of the subs. One moment. We'll go like this. I do apologise for your bet not coming off last one, Maddie. I said that as if I was the one who told you who to back, but you were unlucky with that Savia disallowed try. The Highlanders, they have already made the change of Taylor. They've also made the change of Haig, Lasanga, Hasty. I think those are their only four that they have switched. Moananu was on briefly for the Crusaders. I think he's back off now. Tamaiti Williams is on. Sykes Martin was on, but now he's not. He's disappeared. Well, he's gone for an HIA. Callo's on. And Reves Rehan is also on. It looks like the Crusaders are actually going to opt for the 3 points here, relatively straight out in front of the post. And the players, says Maddie. And no, OMG, it's okay, says Maddie in there as well. Do you have a multi on this one? Any chance? Because if you have Will Jordan in it, you're probably quite happy at the moment. I think, and to be fair, Foz played Havili. Says Mr. All In. And up 100% commentaries you commentate, and a lot of work you do on this channel. Excellent, Hamish, says Kevin. Thank you very much. That kick has gone over. So 24 points to 0 now for the Crusaders after 57 minutes. He obviously pleased Razor in certain ways. Which ways are we talking here, Fleshin? Pleased him. I don't know whether or not players want to have to please a coach in that way to get in the team. Yeah, but I realised one of the people I bet on isn't even playing. Who was that, out of curiosity? Because I guess if they're not playing, you should get your refund, I'd like to think, if it's through the TAB. I assume you're in New Zealand, maybe, or Australia. I don't really know the Australian ones. Bet365, I think. And what do the Crusaders need to do to get to number one spot? Well, the table that they showed had them on 34 points, but I believe they're actually on 32. So they would need a bonus point win and to win this game by about 50, maybe even more. I think Scott Barrett, no, it was Jamie Hanna having a bit of a fumble. Win by 76 or more and keep the bonus point, says No Mum. Definitely Chiefs vs Crusaders final, says Te Moana. A nice take from Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins on the halfway line. Off to the left, Hasty. Gets it to Miller, who goes for the chip in behind. Bit of a miscommunication, but Reves Rehana is ready for it. Crusaders can afford to go into economy mode, says NZ Riot. But the thing is, if the Highlanders score one more try, that takes away the bonus point. As Flesh and Blind Razor gets hit for selection decisions, says Distracted Sports. I think that might have been what was being insinuated. 7 penalties against both sides. 15 handling errors in this game. 8 against the Highlanders, 7 from the Crusaders. And then it's a decent kick for the touchline from Cam Miller. At 21. Oh, his eye's getting worse. Cam Miller. Looks like it's slowly getting more and more open, I guess you could say. Not the eye, but the cut next to it. Right, Cody Taylor, he is off the field now. Moananu will make his way on. Nicely taken by Sean Whiffy. Chance now for the Highlanders to score. They need one in the very near future if they want any chance of getting close in this game. Minimum a bonus point is required just to stay in the hunt for the top 6. Hasty, short side off to Ethan de Groot. Now Hasty uses it again quickly, goes for a bit of a sniping run himself, the replacement half. I really love it when you read something rude and then realize it's rude after you read it. That's the problem with trying to read things fast. My brain says the words and then I go, oh, whoops. But luckily I haven't been caught out by any of those ones who say like a player's name, which is really like offensive because they make it like a fake player name, if that makes sense. Yeah, we haven't fallen for too many of those as of yet. Nov Mum is having a blasting point. To be honest, Nov Mum, I hope yous win. Seems like Bob the build-ups in the playoff. Bob the build-ups. Is that like a spin-off of the Builder Show? That's my dad's ringtone. Fun fact. He is a builder, so it kind of makes sense. But his name's not Bob. But if it was, too much irony. So it has to be a different name or else it's too far. That's exactly what I was suggesting. Sears Flesh in there. Now sitting 5 metres out from the line. Have been told to release. The Highlanders have spent a lot of time attacking inside of the opposition 22. Hasty went with a risky pass. Jonah Lowe picks it up. Mofi Tava Nawa. If they can get it out to him while he's actually on the wing, there is danger. In fact, he's going to hang on to it. He should have shifted it there. Passes it off to Jack Taylor, who wasn't watching, and they'll go back for another penalty. They should have scored that one. That wasn't a wink, by the way. That was a grimace. That kind of looked like I was trying to wink at yous. It wasn't intentional. Now Jamie Joseph looking frustrated. And Timothy Tavatavanawai, that's the problem when he's in the middle of the field rather than out on the wing. Hamish, you appear to have pink eye. Has George been messing around with your pillow at all? I don't have pink eye that I know of. What would be the appearance of pink eye that you are suggesting, Jason? Is it the dark under eyes? Because that's just from not sleeping. I mean bloodshot, that's from not sleeping. I think not sleeping might be the reason for most of it. Come on, Landers. Have they been eating donuts? Is that why they have a donut? You got them there. But I would love a donut, if we're being honest. I think most people would. Is it a full house? No. Which is probably a good thing for the Highlanders, as this has been far from their best game. I did put it very politely. Says Flesh in there too. Now Hasty. Going off to the left-hand side. Jonah Lowe with his hands in the air like he just doesn't care on the halfway or out on the wing, I should say. Now Hasty, they're going to shift this. And they score the try. We've only been asking for it for 62 minutes, but once they do it, they actually score there, the Highlanders. The Zoo are happy. But the Crusaders caught not out wide because they've been defending next to the breakdown so efficiently. Woohoo, no donuts for the Landers. Do we still get donuts, though? That's the question. I don't even know where I would get a donut from. Are supermarket donuts any good? So I think our supermarket might have some, but they don't open till 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. It's like 11 hours of donutless fun. That sounded weird. It sounded like I'm doing something else to the donuts. They do have a hole. That man is dancing big time. Yeah, he's loving it in his Highlanders kit. And bro, Hamish, what's your dad's number? If the Chiefs get smacked out of the playoffs, I'll give him a call. Says Mr. All-In. Now, chance out wide, Cam Miller. Chance here for a conversion. I think I know one of the people in the background there. Now Miller bringing it round, and it doesn't quite come enough. So we'll make the score 24 points to 5. Mac has got some type. Are they those little ball things that McDonald's now have? I don't know what they're actually called, but I think they're like a little. They almost are like a cake pop, aren't they? If that's the Americanized way of saying it. Somebody said defense wins titles. Crusaders are smacking it big time. Says Stewart. 19 points difference at the moment. 3 converted tries for the Highlanders in the remaining 16 minutes. Would win them this game. Yeah, McPops. Are the McPops any good? I haven't had a McPop. They're bloody fun to say. Maybe I will have to invest in said pop. But now, kicked high. Will Jordan running on. Oh, he didn't quite get his jump right, but still managed to catch the ball. Donut balls with melted hot peanut butter syrup. Sounds delightful, doesn't it? Munchies food. Says Matalde. Oh, sorry, it is Metal Damon. Matilde sounds very fancy, but it's just Metal Demon, sorry, rather than Damon. And then the Highlanders score a try, says Stuart Moore. Which origin would Matilde be from? It kind of sounds a little bit, maybe French? No, not really. Italian, maybe. Matilde. Kicked high. Chance outside of the 22, nicely taken by Will Jordan. And again, the Crusaders are going to be on attack. Moananu with the inside ball to Kello. Oh, that was a good ankle tap attempted by Jack Taylor, who says it's in touch. But they will have to check this one. See whether or not he did get the grounding. Lots of sugars, says Blues Nate. But that will be Corey Kello's first try of the season. I think he was in by quite a wee way. I could be completely wrong. I'm happy that the Highlanders at least got some points, says NZ Riot. Yeah, just nicely done. Corey Kello. And, they're going to have to, it could be simultaneous. But a great finish from a replacement flanker. Slow motion. Oh. Ooh. Did that first toe touch the line? It looked like it might have brushed a little bit, but I think it's going to be all right. Happy that the Highlanders at least got some points. Here's NZ Riot. Now, Reves Rehana. He's sitting 4 from 4 today. This one from 48 metres out, so one of the longer kicks that he has taken. Seeing perfect off the kicking tee at this point in time, and that's jinxed him big time, going away to the left. It's going to make the score 29 points to 5. Brush is a touch. We're going to see it here. I don't know how he's lifted that foot the way that he has. It looks like it just hit like a minefield and just popped back up. That man, even when the Crusaders scored, was still doing a bit of dancing. He's just happy to be there. I like Burger King. Burger King does hit well at night. In fact, it hits well at most of the times of the day. I am known to enjoy a barbecue bacon double cheeseburger. Or 3. Rolling this one back. Kyle Preston. Landers are doomed, says Metal Demon. Yeah, they are now in a really tough predicament. They have to score 4 times in the next 13 minutes. That's going to be knocked on now by Macca Springer. Hungry Jacks. They say the burgers are always better. That's the slogan, I should say. I think I've had Hungry Jacks a couple times, and I actually didn't think it was as good as Burger King. That's going to be chipped in behind. Nice take from Reves Rehana. Now, Kyle Preston. Back across to the right-hand side again. Moananu. And best burgers are the ones you make, says Not Os. I mean, last week we were showing pictures of the burgers that I made during a halftime break. I don't know how we got onto that topic, but they did look decent. Now kicked it behind, well controlled at the back from Cam Miller. Jacob Rata Maitavuki Nepkins now charging forward, kicks it. Going to get it down towards the Crusaders 22, well controlled by Reves Rehanu, who does have all the time in the world to be able to kick it into touch. And 3 nice, says Mr. All-In. And Kiwi Fruit is healthier, says Kevin. Probably healthier than a lot of things, the old Kiwi Fruit. Now, 12 minutes left in this contest. Another line out. 29 points to 5. The scoreboard didn't update, but now it hasn't. It looks a little bit worse for wear when it comes to the Highlanders. We've got to remember these two sides are going to be playing off again in only a couple weeks' time, and that's happening in Christchurch. Tamoti Tavatava Nawai gets his offload away this time. Now, back across. Hasty. I was on the outside. Bartlett already getting involved since making his way onto the field for Ethan de Groot. You're right, not Australia. My partner makes big ones, says Kevin. Trying to go again was Lasanga over the ball. Tom Christie just loses a footing, but it's actually going to pop out on the side of the Crusaders now. Preston kicking it in behind. 50-22. Attempted and rewarded. Justin Marshall has said it has to be a 50-22. It has to be. And the referee, I think, did have the arm out for a 50-22. However, there, Hot Plates Meat Patty and Flame Grill Meat Patty says Blues Nate. It's going to be the line out for the Crusaders, who did get the 50-22. Nicely taken at the front. And Landers will win next week. Who are they playing next week? I think they're... Who have they got, actually? Now that I think about it, we're going to show it. No, I don't have it here. In fact, I do. Oh, it's going to be a try for Chase Fiaki just while we're talking about next week's fixtures. There we go. They're playing the Hurricanes. No, they're not. They're playing no one. No, sorry. I'm having a shock. I'm thinking about burgers now. Moana Pacifica next week in Dunedin at 3:35 p.m. I am getting hungry. We have got the bye, says Mr. Orlin. Yeah, another try coming. Che Fiaki, just space to work with. Runs on through. And the celebrations from the bench there. James O'Connor, of course, not playing in this game, but I believe he will be playing now next week after that injury of Taha Kamara. Josh Wanga, sounds like wasn't able to quite get the defence going the way that he would have liked. Now 34-5. It's getting much more one-sided. And my bad, thought we meant Crusaders. Says Miss Orlin, go have some mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is an interesting choice. I don't mind a mac and cheese, though. Just very specific in terms of anything to have. 9 minutes remaining now. And the mayonnaise of Burger King is perfect. I'm about to offend a lot of people. And I'm okay with that. I don't like mayonnaise. But I do enjoy Burger King's barbecue sauce. So maybe their sauce across the board is quite good. But yeah, never been a mayonnaise man. Now we have there, left the gates open. Mum Crusaders are here. I have some burger rings with that burger. Says Robert. And Gilbert, he has made his way on for Cam Miller. And knocked back by Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins. Jonah Lowe trying to step his way through that as a big shot coming in from Cahill. I think both sides are pretty much all fully replaced. Aioli, not really either, to be honest. Hey, gee, nah, man, that's not boys. Mayo is solid. Meat and Spud, says Metal Demon. Mayonnaise, says Blues Nate. Back across to the right-hand side with he gets a nice offload to TK Howden. Still trying to find his way through. Now popped up there. Big run from Ollie Haig. I don't like Mayo either, says Mr. Orlin. What's your favourite Kiwi city? I don't mind the one that I live in, but we're only a town. It's a tricky one. I don't mind Christchurch. It could be worse, in terms of city-wise. Mainly just because of who's in Christchurch as well, I think is the main reason. Plus, I was born there, so supposed to have some sort of alliance. My mill makes the best mayo, but not good for my waist. And also, if you go to the States, try In-N-Out Burger, says Ronnie. And surely tartar sauce? Nah, not for me either. Tomato sauce, I don't mind a tomato sauce. All that's close to the line for the Highlanders. They have to find a way over. Slinging this ball wide. Guess what? Passed it out wide, scored the try. Again, that's now 2 times that they have decided to use their backline and 2 times that the Highlanders have been successful in doing so. I just think that they've taken too long to work it out. And Chichuya boys, says Ash. But nicely done by Lasanga. Does manage to score it out wide. The number 20, Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins with a picture-perfect pass. Will Jordan tried to get across to stop him, but he was defending by himself. And Lasanga was already pretty much on the goal line. And come on, the Highlanders, says Mark. And with the way that it currently sits, I believe the Highlanders would need 1 more try to cancel out the Crusaders' bonus point. So that is something that they could certainly look at. I've never seen Mayo being used more from the oldies than me. I hate that it's Mayo on everything. Says Mr. Orlin, and that one's going to be missing away to the side for Sam Gilbert, keeping the score at 36 points to 10. There's still a little bit of time to be able to work with here. And yeah, just a nice long pass from Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins. Put it right into the bread basket. And too late for the lads, says Medal. Yeah, I think that unfortunately for them, they've just left it till the last 20 minutes, which normally is the patch of the game that they actually struggle with a little bit. So it's not the end of the world that they're starting to score now, but it's just the fact that they're down by 26 certainly doesn't make it easy. Now, oh, that's a big shot on Corey Kello by Timothy Tavatavanawa. Now, I should mention, Timothy Tavatavanawa did have the ball. Kello was trying to defend him, and it did not go too well. A bonus point system is different to the URC, which is better system. It's a tricky one, and I think it completely depends on, it depends on who you're talking to. I like, even though at times it can be frustrating, I like the Super Rugby system quite a lot because it means that you get a bonus point for a dominant win. Because I feel like only for the 4 tries or more, I think that only the winning team should get the bonus point for scoring 4 tries. Just because, you can have a team that's within 7 and gets 4 tries. They can get 2 points from that game. But yeah, I like both systems. I feel like both of them work for their respective ones. I'm not a fan of barbecue sauce and ketchup is all good, says Mr. All In. Kyle Preston, he will go off to the left-hand side. He's been told to use it. Now, gonna be kicking him behind. Big shot on Jacob Ratamai, Tavuki Nepkins. Todd Ed. I didn't read that as smoothly as I'm sure you would have liked, GZ, so I actually messed up one of the words for you, unfortunately. But now, another counter ruck coming from the Crusaders, but they give away the penalty. Macca Springer not happy about that one going against him. Hands in the ruck. 3.5 minutes remaining. The Highlanders have got the chance of trying to take away that bonus point. Oh, Justin Marshall just said they haven't had the firepower nor the knowledge to unlock this Crusaders defence. Which I think it's just been, to simplify it, they haven't shifted the ball enough. Every time that they've shifted it, or at least recently, they've scored tries. Every time they've tried to go for the drive with the forwards just next to the breakdown, they've been held up and lose a whole heap of meters. Looks like another HIA is about to take place. Now shown there, Caleb Tangi Tau, Hugh Renton, Daniel Leonard Brown, all guys who weren't playing in this matchup. Now just about ready for the line out. I think it's Corey Kello after getting sat down by Timothy Tavatavanawa. I would say his mouth guard definitely registered that hit. That'll be why he has to make his way from the field. Only 3 minutes remaining as well, so I don't think it will affect too much in terms of the outcome. We see it here. He charged forward and just gets sat down. Looked like he still had his wits about him, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if he is fine. Now, Cody Taylor is actually the man who's made his way back out onto the field to replace him. Hurricanes and Brumbies next. Ayor's not racing tonight, says a Blues Nate. Yeah, we are going to be covering that one from 9:30 onwards, so anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. If they're doing the Anzac stuff, it might actually be a little bit of a later kickoff. It might actually be 9:40. So what I might do is I might actually schedule that one for slightly later, just in case, because that is what happened for the other match. Nice attack and run now from Timothy Tavatavanawa. Now Hasty goes back across to the left-hand side. And Marshy makes a lot of sense when the game is nearly over. Says Mr. All-In. Tavatavanawa driven backwards again. He hasn't had the ball enough today, I don't think, for the Highlanders. And just hung on my watching, Crusaders on the target. Hamish, he said 4 or 5 tries in the first half, and now second at least Landers got score on the board. Says Ruth. Up to 8 phases in a row. And the thing is, the Highlanders can still take away that bonus point. Hasty trying to milk it for all it's worth, and Scott Barrett not happy about it, but it's going to be the penalty going against the Highlanders. Managed to steal the ball there, the Crusaders, so back for the penalty. Oh, Justin Marshall wants to reinforce the Crusaders' defence stats as well, but yeah, they've had a great day in terms of being able to shut them down. It is similar to what we saw from the Reds, like I said, in terms of being able to hold up the opposition. Looks like they're going to use their backline here. Gilbert. Big shot on him. Bonus point is still in play. Looks a little bit scrappy. I don't know what's happened to the ball there. Moananu looked like he knocked that ball on, but he's going to be breaking away. He's got Reese with him. Gets into his hands and charging down the field looking for his next pass. Does hit the hands of the Highlanders, so it is still play on. And Jacob Ratamaitavuki Nepkins has to claim that ball inside of his own 22. He's actually tried to get that ball back into the field of play and has done extremely well in the process. Hasty goes back across to Jonah Lowe. They want to go the full length for the field by the looks of it. Rugby Breaks Hamish will sneak out for the nearest fish and chip shop. I'll order a deluxe burger with the lot. Sadly, our fish and chip shops are all closed now. They close at 8:30. In fact, about 8:15. So, yeah, bit of a sad day at the office. You could say penalty goes the way of the Crusaders. And now Cody Taylor takes the quick tap, scores another try just to add a little bit more insult to injury. He gets his double. The Crusaders get their 40. And it is a very strong performance from this Crusaders side. They were not going down easy. And the Highlanders, they will look at this game and they will look at their next one up against the Crusaders and know that that is one that they have to play a lot better. Full length for the field. I thought Moananu actually knocked that ball on initially, if I'm being honest, way down the other end of the field. I'm going to see a replay here just to check it. So the ball pops out the side. Yeah, Moananu knocked that ball on 10 metres out from the Crusaders line. But they didn't go back for it, unlike what we saw yesterday. I'm going to see a replay again. I'm just doing frame by frame just to make sure. So he had it in his hands. And it's knocked forward. Yes, the Highlanders' hand was on it, though. So maybe they're trying to say that it wasn't counted as a knock-on. But either way, 43 points to 10. The end score in this contest. A 33-point victory for the away side. Bauer already signed. Officially signed already, says Rock. And there too. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Our next live stream will be taking place at 9:30 p.m. New Zealand time. So if you guys are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We'll see you all for the next one.